Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the harsh lighting of the tackle room here late at night, and time for another hardcore hogging tip that is guaranteed to help some of you catch fish and make some of you happy, and guaranteed to anger and piss some of the people off there that like to complain about every single video that I put out. So I've got a little bit of both on there, and got a good tip for you guys today. I'm going to talk about what I consider there are with the three of the top fall lures that you can use specifically in the month of October and November. And a lot of this, guys, is going to change throughout where you're fishing at as far as geographical regions. But for the most part, when we're talking about a man-made impoundment that is set up like a typical lake, the three that I'm going to talk about here are three of my favorites because they will cover different parts of the lake as far as different water clarities and the way that the lake is set up. So real quick, just wanted to give the weekly reminder, if you guys hadn't had a chance to head on over to my homepage and my YouTube channel, check out the membership section. If you guys are interested in becoming members of the channel, it's a great way to support the channel and help it out. You get extra videos every week that aren't seen by the public, access to my personal email address. And if you're interested in that, just go to the About section on my homepage, click on Intuitive Memberships for that info. Okay, let's talk a little bit about my three favorite fall, or what I consider the best fall lures. So I'm gonna give them to you one at a time, and I'm sort of gonna go up. I'm gonna start lower lake, mid lake, and upper lake. To give these, because the three that I'm gonna talk about here are designed in the fall for me for different water clarities. So the first one I'm gonna talk about, one of my favorite fall time lures, a lot of people don't equate as being a fall time lure, and that's just the old floating worm, just a Zoom trick worm. Guys, in the fall time of the year, when the water temperature starts to fall down into the 60s, they will bite the fire out of the trick worm or any other type of bright floating worm. And I like to throw the floating worms on the clear end of the lake. So normally, for the most part, I'm on the lower end of the lake, and the fish can be around a lot of different type of cover. It totally depends on what's available on the lake that you're fishing. They can be around wood cover, they can be around docks, they can be on points, they can be on seawalls, they can be on shallow grass, they can even be on bare banks. One of the things I just like to do with this thing is just put it on and cover water until I really figure out how the fish are positioned and what type of cover that they're on, because usually you can isolate it a little bit. I found for the most part on these floating wormfish, sometimes, like I said, you can key on secondary points. Sometimes they're in the back of the coves. Sometimes you're running laydowns with them. Sometimes it's water willows. But this bait, I'm telling you, in the fall time of the year in clear water, it's really good. Okay, the second one I'm going to talk about is moving up towards the middle part of the lake. And, as you move to the mid part of the lake, you slowly start to lose a little bit of your clarity. The topography of the lake sometimes changes. Sometimes it, gets a little flatter. It just depends on the lake. But for the most part, the biggest thing you'll notice is a gradual decrease in the water clarity. Maybe not much, maybe significant. It depends on how many creeks are coming into the lake in that particular part of the lake, and if you had any runoff. But my second favorite fall lure for the mid part of the lake is a buzz bait. This is the Megabass Jamaican Boa half-ounce buzzer. I got a Zoom Z-Craw trailer on the back of it, and this particular setup is one of my just all-time favorite fall time baits. As far as when those fish are in that shallow water, again, it could be the back end of the coves, it could be on points, it could be around shallow objects in the wood, just whatever's out there. A lot of times I'll just get on bare rocky banks, flat banks, and just cover water with it. And the thing that you'll notice about fall time buzzbait fishing over any other time of the year is this is the time of the year they hit the bait all day long. Most people equate fishing the buzzbait like low light conditions, early in the morning, that type of stuff. But one of the things that I found out about fall time buzzbait fishing when that water temperature starts to get close to 60 is they will bite the buzzbait all day long. Bright sun, clouds, it doesn't really matter. It's sort of a commitment thing. When I think about fall buzzbait fishing, I'm thinking about, putting it in my hand and not putting it down. Use a fairly slow retrieve. And one of the things I can give you, a piece of advice I can give you on the buzzbait fishing for the fall time of the year, guys, is don't be afraid to cast right on the bank. A lot of times if you have water visibilities that are under 3 feet, some of these fish, especially if you've got gizzard shad in your lake, they're going to be right on the bank. I'm talking about, I try to actually almost hit the bank with that buzz bait, and a lot of times they'll get it just within the first foot or two of the bank. So buzz bait in the mid part of the lake. The last one I'm going to talk about is for the upper end of the lake. The upper creek extremities, the river extremities, basically the part of the lake that you're fishing that has the most water color in it. It's the dirtiest water. It's usually flatter up in these areas. You've got isolated wood cover. It could be rocks, rock transitions. It could be bare banks, whatever. But basically, it's the most dirty water in the lake. And that's when I go to a small crankbait like this Megabass MR Griffin. This MR Griffin runs probably 4 to 6 feet deep on 10-pound test line. And I'm fishing it around whatever cover's available in this up there. Again, it could be rocks, it could be gravel banks, it could be lay down trees, it could be stumps, it could be around docks, just whatever is available. But this little small Megabass MR Griffin is just a killer bait under these situations. So those are my 3 favorite, guys. The Zoom Trick Worm, MR Griffin small crankbait, and Jamaican Bow and Buzzbait. I'll include the Baitworks link in the description. If you guys would like to order any of these, you can use that link, and it's a good way to help the channel out here. So like I said, again, depends on the lake. Every lake's got some stuff that's unique to itself, but you can't go wrong with these 3 choices right here. I think it'll put some bass in the boat for you from now over to the next month or so. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Much appreciated. We'll see you tomorrow.